Hello everyone and welcome to Tech Infywire. First of all, you all have a very happy and prosperous new year. And today we are going retro and we are going to review one of the super zoom bridge cameras called Panasonic Lumix FZ28. This camera was announced back in June 2008. I got this camera from US and back then it was around 18,500 Indian rupees, and it was almost 11 years before I got this camera and it's still going good. It's a very good camera, only 10 megapixels, but it's still very nice. The optical zoom in this camera, the colors and everything is very nice. With a focal length equivalent to 27 to 486 mm, that is 35 mm equivalent. This camera has a rigid design and a plasticky body, but it does feel substantial in your hands. The lens cap, the back screen, the viewfinder, the electronic viewfinder back 15 years ago was still very good to use. I know some of you would be saying that there was extreme blackout those days. Yeah, it was there, but still you could focus and frame all those images from this viewfinder and you could see what you are going to get of those images. The camera also featured the PASM mode and electronic zoom. The FZ28 featured a large 2.7-inch intelligent LCD with 230,000 dot resolution. It was clearly visible in virtually all the conditions. From a user's perspective, this camera was small, compact, light and fully power packed. With the 18x optical zoom, you could get closer to the subject, very close to the subject indeed, and focusing was really good. Not that excellent kind of focusing that we see in the Sony cameras these days, but it was very good considering it was 2010 that I was using this camera. It had the face detection function that could find 15 faces in the frame and adjust the focus and exposure to capture them clearly and in sharp focus. It was really good and it was one of the best technologies that you could find in one of the cameras back in the day. The high-speed burst shooting mode, it fires off incredible maximum 13 shots per second. In speed priority mode, it can record up to 13 fps in 2 megapixel 16:9 ratio and in 12 fps in 2.5 megapixel size and 11 fps in 3 megapixel size 4:3 ratio. Featured a Li-ion battery pack that was 7.2 volts and 750 mAh. So the battery life was around 460 pictures, SEPA rated, and it means that you could use flash and then you could also take pictures along with that. So all in all, it was a pretty decent size of battery, and it used to take around 1.5 to 2 hours to charge completely at 100%. The camera size was very compact. It was lightweight, around 417 grams only. The high ISO mode was around 64 ISO, and I could only use it effectively with good image quality at 200 to 400 ISO. Even the shutter speed was 1/2000 per second, which was not so good to freeze the action pictures or freeze the action, but it was sufficient enough for me to get some pictures. And this unit was built in Japan and it was high quality. Even the you can see the battery compartment and the SD card compartment over there, which was pretty handy. I could use 4 GB SD cards. One thing that I loved about this camera was the lens cap. It was very good quality lens cap. You could just twist and press those lens cap and just hold it or add it to the lens and cover it for protection. It was pretty good, and it came with the nylon string which you could attach to the camera so that it would not fall off. Pretty handy, eh? Finally, to conclude this review, I would just leave you with a couple of shots that I have taken with this camera over the years, and they are superb. Particularly, I'm proud of the macro quality and the color rendition of the camera when you're shooting macro photographs. You can see it for yourself, and that is the reason why this camera is still an ideal option even today. Oh, did I mention that it also shoots in RAW? So you can edit to your heart's content in your favorite image editing software. And I could get decent amount of background blur for the subjects in question if I had the appropriate distance between the background and the subject, like birds. It was still amazing. This Heron was shot at around 15 to 16x optical zoom, and the quality was really decent. You can see this in this picture. Portrait shot at longer focal lengths could get you closer to the subject, and there was certain amount of background blur that you could see in the images. It was good. Overall, this was a significant investment back in the day, and it still paid off very nicely. So I'm very happy with the camera and its performance. I'm leaving you out with a couple of images that I have taken with this camera, and it's just fantastic.